I'm Andy Contaguglia, your corporate casual Denver-based business attorney, bringing you the Don't Skip the Legal podcast, where you can listen in on the real stories, the real stakes, and the real legal lessons from real business owners just like you. These behind-the-door conversations about business are instrumental to your success. This is where the deals are made, negotiations are discussed, and company problems are identified, leading you to overcoming the challenges we all face in our business. This podcast is your invitation to where the real business happens, and also where the best ideas take place. So let's get behind the doors in business and break down these legal lessons. And overall, remember, don't skip the legal. This is Andy Contaguglia bringing you the Don't Skip the Legal podcast. This episode is brought to you from the floor at PodFest 2023 in Orlando, Florida. This latest episode features Fernando Pires, who has built a portable audio recording device because he really wanted to be able to record his audiobook, and the existing interface that he was using wasn't really good enough. He is an electrical engineer by just sort of his experience, and overall this device that he created has received a very positive response from people that he's introduced it to. And he has also taken all the necessary legal steps, like obtaining a provisional patent, doing the trademarking and the branding of his device. The conversation that we had on the floor there really covers the importance of securing your ideas and the products legally, and also the process of obtaining patents and trademarks. This podcast offers valuable insights and advice for entrepreneurs and business owners as we explore the legal lessons Fernando has navigated bringing his new product to market. So let's dive in. All right, there we go. We are with Fernando here at PodFest 2023 in Orlando, Florida.
Awesome.
Good to see you.
Hey, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. We are here looking at your new AudioSigma. Let's check this thing out. Look at this. Podcast recording on the go. Smaller, portable, ready to rock and roll. This is amazing. In its infancy, starting to build it out. We're recording on my iPhone, which is even better, so that's the quality that you're getting from this. Tell us a little bit about it.
It came about because I wanted to record my audiobook, and then the interface I had wasn't good enough. And instead of buying another one, I actually built one myself, and people seem to like it. So that's how it started.
Well, this is great. And I mean, we've had a lot of really good discussions sort of as we've met here. And you know my angle, being a lawyer and everything, trying to sort of build and make sure that, you know, entrepreneurs and people who are starting their businesses, building products and things like that are not skipping the legal, as I always like to say, since, you know, my mantra is don't skip the legal. But what you've managed to do, as you're setting up the next microphone here, you've done a lot of the basics that I see people missing. I mean, you have a provisional patent on your product.
Oh wow!
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, no,
that's reassuring.
You've got your branding trademarked already.
Yes.
I mean, all these things people miss.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, let me ask you this question: What?
Shoot.
Too many late nights and my voice is all cracking here. How did you know that those were some of the first steps you needed to take as you were building out your product?
I've been in this road for a while. I filed for a couple non-provisional patents when I was in Brazil, and it's a very involved process, expensive as well. I worked for 7 years for Kicker, and then doing my research, I think I came across. Well, I actually not only came across, but I learned a lot from Stephen King.
Okay.
I think that's his name. He's got a couple of books called One Idea, something like that. I don't quite remember. But he talks about the provisional patent, and the provisional patent is an excellent tool because you have 1 year of headroom to test your thing, so you got to be quick.
Right.
But if you have something that is proven to be valuable in your hands, then you can at least sink the money in a patent with a little bit of ease of mind, because the patents I've done in Brazil. Literally, I just lost my money and my time. It was quite appalling, to be honest with you.
Well, I can imagine that the patent process in Brazil is a lot different than it is here in the United States.
I think it's really similar. I think the laws are also quite similar. It was very smooth, but it's just a lot of work to write the patent report and all the claims and all that. It's just a ton of, it consumes you with a lot of time, and if it's not worthwhile, if the money doesn't pay off either, then it's hard. And here is not different. But here, the U.S. the only country, as far as I know, is the only country that allows you the privilege of filing for a provisional patent. So if you're broke and you've spent $70, $75 last time I checked.
I know no broke entrepreneurs, none of them.
No. They're all rich. They're all rich. They all start rich, and they continue to be rich, and then they get richer.
That's right.
And I'm not lying, by the way. Yeah.
That's funny. So you built this out. You're an electrical engineer by training, but by education. How did you get broken into?
Self-taught, man.
Self-taught. 100%. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Started at the age of 4.
Okay.
So I've been doing this for 31 years.
Wow.
Out of 35. 28 years old, I was hired from Brazil to work at Kicker, and then of course that really also benefited me because I got to work with many other engineers, and I'm their senior design engineer. So I mean, they were fine with the fact that I didn't have a degree. I certainly don't feel the necessity to go get one now. I can do the things. So it's not like law or medicine that you have to have a degree to practice, because otherwise it's criminal. Right. If you burn a transistor, it's okay.
You're allowed to You're allowed to fix the path of everything on that. So
Correct.
How did you come up with this design? What was your impetus behind why you wanted to design this? I mean, there are a number of products like this out there. How does your product differ from all the others, and what big changes did you want to make in your product to make it easier for the user? Yeah.
Well, audio interfaces, they actually, the name is proper, right? It's an audio interface. It sounds like, and it is, a generic audio input and output device. So
right.
If you're going to record your guitar, you get an audio interface. If you're going to record a podcast, you get an audio interface. If you want to record a voiceover work, you get an audio interface. But it's this generic looking thing that if I give it to my mom, she can't figure out, because the labels are like pad, gain, aux, monitor. It's like, what is this stuff, right? Like if somebody doesn't have some level of proficiency in the pro audio realm, it's hard to figure out. And the Pod Mobile, the name suggests, is purpose designed and built for interviews and podcasts.
Right.
And the voiceover community fell in love with it because the noise floor is so low in this unit. So they love it because they can do voiceover work, and like it's only their voice, like complete void in the back.
Right.
So they fell in love with because of the quality. So I was lucky in a way to literally get that idea out of my, like I didn't, for real, I didn't really do market research, and it just so happens that it fits at least 2 customer segments, voiceover and podcasting, very well.
Well, what I'm fascinated by with all this, and my setup is really simple. So I mean, you and I are sitting here having breakfast, and we're talking about it, and you pull this out, and you're like, hey, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
So here we are on this impromptu sort of interview with one another about building this out. We are in a banquet hall. We've got probably 150 people around us eating breakfast.
Yes.
There's a little bit of ambient, noise and talking behind us, but for the
little
most
bit.
part, here we are. We've got our mics, and we're putting together this, this interview. But I mean, have you started your company? Are you building it out on your own? How did you decide you wanted to organize your business and all that?
I love your question. Okay, so lifelong dream to become an employer. Okay, because everybody needs work. Not everybody is willing to go through the motions and the difficulties of starting a company. And instead of just taking a job, I'd like to create jobs.
Right.
So huge motivation for me. The other thing that somebody that knows me very well said, if you don't own it, you don't love it. So yeah, so I have that personal necessity of having my own company. Worked as an entrepreneur in Brazil for 10 years, then I couldn't refuse the job at Kicker. It was amazing. Like I had a green card in 2 years. I've been treated extremely well by them, and it's been excellent working for them. So I could sit back and just chill, and buy nice things, but instead I live rather frugally, and I put all the money into this venture here because I know that when I'm 40, 50, 60, I don't want to have that. I want to be having my company and, taking care of creating jobs and company culture and deciding what we are doing and why, instead of figuring out how and calculating the resistor on the board. So this needs to happen, and I better move now than later. Did I answer your question?
For the most part, I think. I mean, how are you set up? How is your business structure set up? Are you an LLC? Did you
Okay,
decide
got
to
it. It's an
incorporate?
LLC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an LLC.
A solo member. You're the only member of
Yes,
your LLC
correct.
at this point. Okay.
Correct.
That's good.
Yeah, so far it's an LLC, one member, but I met a wonderful guy that's like, we've been friends for a while, and he's an awesome sales guy. Trust him with my life, and we're going to go into this 85% me, 15% him.
Okay.
So we'll partner up and probably start a new LLC, but the AudioSigma name remains.
So let me ask you this question. What do you see, what is keeping you up at night as you build your business? So here you go, you're sitting down
I
with
like the
me.
question.
We're 9 minutes into this interview right now.
Interesting.
I'm giving you a consultation.
Okay, cool.
What do you want? What do you want to learn? You're here, we're friends. We're going to build this relationship as we move forward. So what can I do to help you? You tell me.
I don't really know yet, but what keeps me up at night is the manufacturing.
Okay.
Because currently I build the units myself. So if you hit me up on LinkedIn, you will not find this to sell online anywhere or any store whatsoever, because they're not for sale publicly. But if you hit me up, I build them one myself. But I need to figure out a company, trustworthy company, to build this with quality. And I don't want to build in China for multiple reasons. We don't need to go there. But the price of building this in the US is 2.5 times higher than China. So that's been keeping me up at night, because it's definitely the funnel in this equation. So I'm not yet talking a ton about it. I'm not, making a carnival bark and being an exhibitor here or
Right.
anything of the sort, because the quantity is limited.
Well, we had an interesting discussion before we started recording, and that was, as I was talking to you about, financing options, finding investors, venture capital, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mentioned, an opportunity that many entrepreneurs take on in the United States, going through Indiegogo, AngelVest,
Right. Oh yeah, that's a
Kickstarter,
great point.
that kind
You're
of
right.
thing.
Right.
And you were like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do
And I
that.
think it's interesting in the tech space, because what you brought up to me, I hadn't really thought about.
Right.
So for me, in understanding where your head is when it comes to technology, I think this is really a big deal. So tell us exactly why you are, at least at this point, hesitant to go onto one of those platforms to raise money for your business venture.
Yeah, so as far as tech goes, like if it's an electronic device and you do crowdfunding, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, any of those platforms, there are a lot of eyes on it, and you can get, and I don't want to say China, but I'm saying already, but you could very well have that idea copied, and maybe they will go to market before you do, and then what do you do, So I'm like, okay, I think eventually that will get copied, but if I gotten enough momentum already, the name out there, and that knockoff is not the death sentence of my business, okay, so be it, I'm on to the next thing. But if I start from scratch with Kickstarter or Indiegogo, who knows? Maybe they beat you to the market and then you're done.
Well, there are two big things in business. You want to either be best price or first to market.
Yeah.
And I think you raise a pretty good point that in many instances when you have people from China who might be looking in the tech space, they can build it faster and beat you to market,
Yes.
and they can build it cheaper and beat you on price.
Yeah, because they're in that hub already. They already have like factories and factories around them. Maybe they have a factory themselves, so maybe they are the factory. So while you're shopping around for factory, they're already setting up the production line, man.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the other aspect personally, and that's me, is that I'm not on this to, I want to build this business, sell the business. No, I'm on this because I want this to be a lifelong career. So as much as I can, I will self-fund this thing. And, investors is only welcome in my company when they bring more than money, when they bring their sweat, and that's a must, and hopefully a wealth of knowledge as well. Complementary skills are such.
That's a really good point, because you mentioned your business partner. I'll call him a business partner for lack of a better term at this point. This person's coming in. He's going to get 15%. How do you envision his involvement within your company and with the build out of this product?
Well, if I do my job right, he'll be a full-time guy.
Okay.
Full-time
In what
salesperson.
capacity?
Salesperson.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great sales guy. Excellent sales guy. And just wonderful. You can sit here with him and be friends like almost immediately. And he's a genuine person. He's not, faking it. He's just that guy. Community oriented. So he's got the skills that I don't have. I get easily overwhelmed with this stuff. I'm not the best salesperson at all. So I'm a good engineer, excellent engineer, but I'm a probably, I'd say, not even average. I'm substandard sales guy, and Jeff's got all these complementary skills.
Well,
and I look up to him as a guy, as a person. He's a good man.
There's an old saying if you've ever watched horse racing, you don't bet on the horse, you bet on the jockey.
Yeah.
And so what you're, an important concept here, and this is, in 27 years of representing businesses and partnerships and, people who go into business with one another, I always see these relationships that start off great and then end up deteriorating.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason for that is because the relationship is built not on the skills necessarily that the person is bringing to the table.
Right.
And I think what you need to do is focus on skills. You really need to keep it professional. You need to make sure that all your agreements are in place. You need to make sure that you have a shareholder agreement, or in your case, an operating agreement that manages how your company's going to be organized and managed and ownership and how you're going to split and distribute profits and things like that down the line. Because as much as you guys love each other now, there's going to be a time that you might hate each other's guts.
Oh, yeah, that's entirely possible, but I think it's unlikely with this particular person.
I've had a lot of people say that.
Well, I think your skepticism is healthy and justified, and I hope that that's not the case, but I'm not saying it won't be the case. It could be the case, but I'd rather lose the business side of things with him than lose his friendship. So
well, my point is, I don't think there's anything wrong with going into business with your friends. I think the key needs to be act as if they aren't your friend. You're not planning for the start, you're planning for the end.
Yes.
And the goal here is to protect yourself when the shit hits the fan.
Totally.
And all of this is breaking down, and you hate each other's guts, and one's ready to leave, and you're sick and tired of this guy because he ran off and took the company credit card and bought a Ferrari. And,
yeah, exactly.
All this nonsense. I know you wouldn't, but these are the things that happen, because I've represented companies where that has happened, and and the breakdown in the relationship is the word. They call it a business divorce for a reason, and you need to protect yourself going into that.
So what's your advice for me?
Get a really good operating agreement. Really define the roles and responsibilities for what he's going to do and what you're going to do.
I love it.
Define what role he's going to play. Is he going to be an employee? Is he going to be a manager? Is he going to be just an owner? Because in a business, you can wear all three of those hats.
Can you help me with that agreement?
Of course I can help you with that agreement.
Can we shake on that?
Of course. Up elbows, because I'm holding my mic with my shaking hand.
That's funny. Yeah, no, sounds good, man. I think you have great points there.
So I'm excited for you. I think this is great, and it's been really fun getting to know you over this. And again, this is the AudioSigma product. Here it is again, this little streaming thing, and based on everything that we have sort of discovered and learned throughout this conference, there are similar products that are a lot bigger.
Yeah, and they do less.
And the fact that you can throw this nice little package into your backpack and your briefcase and throw it around and have available to you the
mic's bigger than the thing.
Yeah, it is totally. And we're recording this on my my iPhone, which is even more remarkable. And I'm excited to sort of see how this breaks down and moves forward. So
yeah, well, I'll keep you in the loop, and
please do.
When it's not an if, it's when I need legal advice and work, I know who to go to already. So
reach
I appreciate
out, man.
that. Maybe that was meant to be.
I'm always here for my friends. Nice
Thank you, my
meet
friend.
Man.
Awesome.
Be well. Enjoy the rest of the conference. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Don't Skip the Legal podcast. I'm your host, Andy Contaguglia. I hope you enjoyed our time together and this great opportunity to peek behind the business door and examine the legal lessons in business. If you're keen to hear how these lessons can be applied in the real world, well, join us next week for another episode where you can listen in to another business success story. As always, you can head over to contaguglia.com/podcast to sign up to our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources in our show notes. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at AJCESQ. Thanks again. This is Andy Contaguglia reminding you to don't skip the legal. Good luck. The legal information contained in this podcast is intended for general informational and entertainment purposes only. It should only be used as a starting point for addressing your specific legal issue. The legal information I talk about does not create an attorney-client relationship between you and me. This podcast is not a substitute for an in-person or telephonic consultation with a lawyer who is licensed to practice in your jurisdiction about your specific legal issue, and you should not rely on this legal information for those purposes. You understand that questions and answers or other information contained in this podcast are not confidential and are not subject to attorney-client privilege. I am not providing you a legal service. Every legal case is different, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Please consult your own attorney.